Welcome back. Hopefully that last episode or last module was good for you and you can understand how you can really do this truly with almost no money out of pocket. So here's what we're going to talk about in this module. So we've talked a lot about, we're going to talk to Mrs. Smith and we're going to contract her property at $100,000 and then we're going to sell that contract to an investor for $110,000 and he's going to fix it up and sell it for $200,000, right? But hopefully the question you were asking is, how on earth do I know if $100,000 is the right number? So we're going to spend a couple minutes and talk about that because I want you to be able to understand that process, and then the more you do, the better you will get at it. So let's walk over to the big board. All right. So this time we're going to use purple, which is my wife's favorite color. So we're doing this for Heather. So once you've got a property, right? And when I say you've got a property, you're talking to a seller, right? So either you've driven by, you've knocked on the door, you've put out a bandit sign and somebody's called you. First thing you're going to do, right, is you don't have to do all of this at once. Hey, Mrs. Smith, give me a little bit of information about the property, right? Let's gather just some information. What kind of condition is it in? Tell me, has it ever been updated? When can I come see it? How come you're selling, right? We want to determine a couple things here. We want to figure out condition, right? I'm going to write these down for you because it's really important. Right? We want to know the condition. What is her motivation? Does she have an asking price? Right? Those are three very important things. So if you're doing this locally and you put out a sign and somebody calls you in, we're going to do some brief screening over the phone before we go out to the property, right? That way we can go out there armed with a little bit of knowledge. So here's what we need to determine, right? What is the seller's motivation or pain point, right? And when I say pain point, we're not looking to exploit anybody, but we need to figure out what it is what is the problem so that we can solve that problem, right? Is it that, because different problems have a different timeline, right? Oh, I just inherited this property and I need to get rid of it. It's working through the probate process. We should be ready to sell it in the next 2 months. Okay, that's a lot different from, hey, I'm going into foreclosure in 4 days and I need to have this property sold before I lose it, right? So what is the pain point? What is the reason for wanting to sell the property? What is the property what's the value in its as-is condition? Because we're going to talk about after repair value here in a minute, but what is its value in its as-is condition, right? And I'm going to assume you want to start this with very low money down, so you can do this on Zillow. Zillow is a free resource. It's not perfect, it certainly has its flaws, but Zillow is the greatest collector of data in the country. So what we're looking for is, what is the as-is value? So what you can do is you can go into Zillow, you can put in the address, right? And you can look at properties in a radius around there. And I want to look at what properties look like the ones we have and what did it sell for. Right? That tells me what the property is worth, right? So maybe its as-is value is 100 to 120, right? So what are we comparing it with? Properties that were built in a similar time range. So if our property is built in 1960, I might look at 1955 to 1965 properties, right? So they're similar, right? They're similar in square footage. If my property is 1,000, I want to look at maybe 900 to 1,100 square foot houses. And these are all filters that you can put into Zillow. And then the condition. Does it look like the property that I've got, right? Is it dated? Maybe it was built in 1960 and hasn't had any repairs. What do other properties look like on Zillow? And the one thing that's great about Zillow is oftentimes there are pictures of the property. So it's a very great way to get started and kind of get in there. But you got to sort through. Don't just go off the Zestimate. I promise you that will lead you astray most times. Because all Zillow does with their Zestimate is they're just drawing a big radius of like 5 miles and taking every single property. They average the square foot of what it sold for and it just assigns a number. Do not go by this estimate. I promise you, you're going to make a mistake. What you want to look at is age, size, condition, and make sure you're comparing apples and apples, right? Because that's going to tell us what it's sold for, and what it's sold for means what you can probably sell yours for, right? So we want to know the as-is value, we want to know the condition, we want to know the size, and we want to know the age, right? All of those are available either on Zillow or your local property appraiser's website. So if you don't know your property appraiser's website, here in Chattanooga, I would go to Hamilton County, Tennessee, property appraiser, put that into Google, and it will pop up. It's generally a free site 99% of the time. You can go in there, put in the address, and it will give you all of this information. So we want to be able to figure out what the as-is value. We need the current condition, size, and age, because we're going to look on Zillow and see, you know, apples and apples type properties. But we want to figure out what the after repair value is. What does that mean? So if we were to buy this property for, you know, or if somebody was to buy this property for $100,000 to $120,000 and they fix it up, is there a big spread, right? So while we're looking for these houses built in 1960 that are 1,000 square foot in this area, you're going to see some that are in bad condition. You're going to see some that are in perfect condition, like just remodeled. That's what your after repair value is, right? If I was to buy this and fix it up, what's it worth? So you're looking for some spread there, right? A difference. So let's just say you found 3 properties that are very similar. They look the same size, same age, same area, and all fixed up. They sold for $200,000. And Mrs. Smith is asking for $100,000. Wow, okay. Well, you might have yourself a deal there, because who fixes those properties up? Investors, people just like me. So if I could buy this property for $110,000, I could put $40,000 into it. I'm in it for $150,000, right? That's my all-in price. And I could sell it for $200,000. I can make $50K profit. Now those are broad numbers. We're maybe leaving a couple things out, like what your cost to sell is, but you can see how buying it, putting it under contract at 100, right? So let's say my contract with Mrs. Smith is at 100K. I'm going to assign it to my buyer at 110,000, right? So that's a 10K assignment. I can make 10,000. My buyer is very happy to buy it at 110. He's going to invest 40K in repairs. Right, so now he's invested 150 into it, and he's going to resell it for 200,000. He can make a 50K profit. That's a deal. That's what you're looking for. So I just want you to understand in very broad terms, we want to generate people that we can talk to, right? Sellers that we can talk to. When we're talking to them, we need to determine what is the condition, the size, the age, so that we can figure out what the as-is value is. Then also using Zillow in this case, we can go figure out what a property like this will sell for all fixed up. Is there enough of a spread there that it makes sense for an investor to buy this property, right? Can they make money? So that's the important thing you always want to keep in mind is, if I contract this property, can I sell it to somebody and can they buy it and make money on it, right? Because if you contract with Mrs. Smith at, let's say, you contracted at 150, and now you want to sell to your investor at 160,000, but it's only worth 200. Is somebody going to buy it? No, you're not going to. And then you're going to have to go back and cancel your contract at 150, right? So you don't want to do that. You only want to contract a property when it makes sense, because if you contract it at 150, remember, generally your seller is selling because there's some type of distress. You're only going to make the situation worse. So you want to be contracting at a number that makes sense to you. And maybe she's asking 100 and you need to tell her 85 is the number, right? That may be, that's negotiation. You want to learn how to negotiate and do that. But You're looking to put a property under contract at a number low enough that you could take that contract, assign it to your end buyer. You can make a small spread. Maybe it's, maybe instead of 10,000, you make 2,500. Or maybe you negotiate it down to 80 and you make 30,000, right? Depends on you and what you can negotiate, right? So you're trying to contract the property at the lowest number possible. That is still a win-win for everybody. We're not looking to take advantage of people. You don't want to get that reputation. And then you're going to go out and you're going to find your end buyer who's willing to pay you for that contract, right? So why would somebody pay you for that contract? Like, they could do this too. Of course they could. But rehabbers are very busy rehabbing properties. Landlords are very busy landlording, right? They're always looking for their next deal, right? So the example I give people is, I can go to Olive Garden tonight and I can get the pasta with chicken and Alfredo and breadsticks and pay, $40 for a meal for my wife and I. I could also go to the store and buy all the parts and pieces for $12, right? But maybe I don't have the time to do that. We're out shopping and I just want to go out and have this service done for me and have a nice meal. Same reason why people buy from wholesalers like me is, maybe I can negotiate it down to, 100,000 and they didn't have time to do that, What we are doing as a wholesaler is we are providing a deal on a silver platter to an investor that makes sense. So hopefully that makes sense and how you can do it. If, like in the last module, you want to go purchase a software like PropStream, propstream.com. On PropStream, you can get more detailed information because, again, now remember, time and money. You're going to pay $97 or $100 for PropStream every month, and you can search and see, what are the low sales for this type of property? What are the high sales? So you can figure out where your cash buyers are buying and what your ARV would be. And if you want to get PropStream, there are thousands of videos on YouTube that will teach you super in depth how to use the software and how to comp the property, right? Figure out what the comparables are. So PropStream also has a 7-day free trial. So if you want to give it a shot, I'm not going to give you an affiliate link or anything like that. Just go to PropStream. We use them a lot in our business, and they're definitely it's definitely a good software. So, but doing it on a budget. I think most people have heard of Zillow. Zillow is a great way that you can comp properties, and we use this in our company. We go to Zillow all the time to look at pictures and see see different things about the property to compare our as-is value with our ARV. So hopefully that makes some sense to you, so that you understand when I'm contracting it what price you need to contract it at. You need to be low enough that you can assign that contract to an end buyer, and that end buyer can profit off of your deal, right? Because that's what we do. We're here to help those people find deals that they can make money on. That's our job. So I will see you in the next module.